Okay, this question, we have a couple limits to infinity and negative infinity of a function. Let's do part A down here. So limit x goes to infinity of 7 over e to the x plus 7. So let's just plug in infinity. So I'm just going to plug it in there. So we get e to the infinity plus 7. Now, question is, what is e to the infinity? That's like e to a really big power, like e to the 1,000 or whatever. Remember, E is just a number. It's like a 2.714 blah 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 number to the 1,000. It's a special number. Like E is like pi. Pi is a special number, right? 3.14 blah 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 blah. E is a special number 2.7. Oh, I think it's 1828 blah 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 whatever. They're just special numbers. We know what E does. E, you know more about E now. E is the perfect number, so he's his own derivative, right? And pi has to do with the ratio of circumference to diameter of circles. Anyway, long story short, E to the 1,000 is 2.7 about, to the 1,000. If you take 2.7 times itself, 1,000 times, it's going to go to infinity, right? So this is 7 over infinity plus 7, which is 7 over infinity, right? Infinity adds 7 is infinity. Okay, now what is 7 over infinity? Whoop, little thing jumped on me there. What is 7 over infinity? It is 0, which is the answer there. Are you clear on that? 7 over infinity, if when the top is just a fixed number and the bottom goes to infinity, that's 0, right? Think about, if I take 7 over a million, you know? So that's close to 0. Why? Well, because, if you have seven, let's make it real, make 7 pies and you cut them into a million pieces. You say, here you go, you get 7 millionths of a piece of pie. Well, that's basically no pie, right? That's just pie dust, right? And we're not even stopping at a million. We're going to a billion, a trillion, et cetera. So we're going to infinity. It's headed to 0. So whenever the bottom goes to infinity, headed to 0. So okay, so we got that. Okay, now let's do part B. Part B is going to be a little bit of a different story. So on part B now, coming on down. So part B, take limit x goes to negative infinity of the same function. So 7 over e to the x plus 7. Okay, let's plug in our negative infinity. So that's going to be 7 over e to the negative infinity plus 7. Now, what's e to the negative infinity? That'd be like e to the negative 1,000. What's that? Remember, negative powers are 1 over. They're unhappy where they're at. They want to jump to the denominator. And so that's 1 over infinity, which is 0. So this becomes 7 over 0 plus 7, which is 7 over 7, which is 1. So that's why that answer is 1. So e to the negative infinity is 1 over e to the infinity, which is 1 over infinity, which is 0. So that e to the negative infinity becomes 0. So it's 7 over 7, it's 1. And so there we go.